viewers, and welcome to the 8th episode of our 10-in-1 video series entitled 100 Commonly Misused Words Used in WAEC, NECO, and JAMB Lexis and Structure. In this 8th episode, we shall be looking at word sets number 71 to number 80. And for easy access, we shall as well be splitting this particular episode into two sections. Okay, we shall be considering part A and then part B. In other words, we shall be looking at words number 71 to number 75 in part A, okay, and then words number 76 to number 80 in part B. In the first part of this episode, we shall be considering words like further/father, compose/consist/comprise, prescribe, morale, lie. Then in the second part, we shall be considering things like influence, affluence, at times, that is at times separated and then at times joined together, where you have at and times, okay, joined together. Then number 78, we shall be considering words like opportune and opportuned. And then we have unkept and unkempt. Unkept and then unkempt. Alright, and then number 80, we shall be considering adverse and advice. Right, so these are the words we shall be considering in this 8th episode. Like we established emphatically in episode 7, we made mention of two things that bring about conflicts in the usage of words. And the two things are very simple. Number one, the way words are spelled. And then number two, the way words are pronounced. So that if two or more words are spelled alike, that is, if they are homographs, then there's going to be every tendency for such words, okay, to be conflicted in usage. And then we went further to again establish the fact that words might not be spelled alike, but if they have the same sound, that is, if they are pronounced alike, all right, that is, if they are homophones, then the possibility for such words to be conflicted in usage will also exist. All right. So these are two things that we need to have at the back of our minds anytime we are thinking about words that are commonly conflicted in usage. Right. So we shall move forward right away, okay, with the first set of words that we have here. That is word set number 71, by considering further/father. Further/father. The first thing you need to understand very clearly, okay, around this pair of words is that they are, okay, the comparative form of the word far. They are the comparative form of the word far. Yes, so you can say that they are comparative adverbs. Yes, further is the comparative adverb of the adverb far, while father is the comparative, okay, of the same word far. So like we have here, okay, below, I try to bring out the words, all right, by considering them in their positive form, and then in their comparative form, and then in their superlative form. So, you know, just like we have positive adjective, that is how we also have positive adverbs. And just like we have comparative adjective, that is how we also have comparative adverb. Now, looking at this word very closely, far, all right, is the adverb, for example. Then the comparative form is going to be what? Farther. Right. That's the comparative form, and then the superlative form is what? Farthest. Therefore, the second form of the same word, you're going to have far, and then you have further for the comparative form, and then you have what? Furthest. Right, so this is where the conflict arises. This is the beginning of the conflict, okay, with these words in usage. The same word far, okay, is having two different forms of comparatives and two different forms of what? Superlatives. Right. So that is why we are going to be very careful right now with the way we shall be analyzing the words to understand their clear meanings, okay, and how we can use them correctly in expression, whether in spoken English or in written form or in the examination. All right, so the first word we're going to be considering here is what? Further. Right, let's go to some keynotes we have on the board. The first one talks about further. Number one, we say it means more. So you can use further, okay, to say that something is more. All right? And if you use it in that sense, then it is an adjective. Then you can use further to say additionally. If you use it in that sense, then you are using the word as an adverb. Okay? That is when you are narrating a story, okay? You decide to say something like, okay, after making a point, you say further, then go ahead with what follows in the story. So that will become further. Number three, further can be used as a verb. Take note that in the first instance, we said that further can be used as an adjective. The second instance, we said that further can be used as an adverb. Then, in the third instance, we are now saying that further can be used as a verb. I hear things like, or people say things like, I want to further my education. It's the same word. It simply means that the word can be used as three different parts of speech, as an adjective, as an adverb, and as a verb. Okay? Now, I decided to make this point the fourth point so that it can connect us to the first point we shall be discussing under the second word. That further, all right, can be used to refer to a greater distance, but in a figurative sense. That's in a metaphorical way, or in an idiomatic form, okay, or in a literary form. Then, farther, okay, means a greater distance as well, but in physical sense. Then the second keynote here is that farther cannot be used as a verb. Farther cannot be used as a verb. Let's talk about their usage in expressions. Number one, further. All right, further. You can see what we have here in what? In blue, okay? These notes that are in blue, okay, are pointing to the part of speech that the expressions, okay, are based on. All right? And let's look at the first one. And what we have in blue here is adverb. So how do we use further as an adverb? If I say something like, let's not discuss it further. Let's not discuss it further. In this expression, further is being used as what? An adverb. Because it is functioning, okay, to modify the verb in the expression. And what is the verb? The verb is what? Discuss. In other words, you can interpret this expression by saying, let us not move this discussion forward. All right? Let's not move this discussion forward. And the second example we have here says, you can only gain by further study. And what we have in blue here is saying that the word further is being used as an adjective. So you now ask yourself, why or how? Right. We know that an adjective is a word that modifies a noun, right? The way further is used in this expression, you can see it clearly that it's standing before a noun. In other words, it's coming before a noun. That is, further is beautifying this study, further study is together. This study is being modified by this further. So when you see an arrangement like this, where a word is standing, okay, before a noun, that very word that is standing before the noun is an adjective. So this is an adjective. If that is a little bit difficult, okay, that is if you are not going to comprehend that very easily, then I can give you another formula, okay, to decode further in expression, to know whether further is an adverb or whether it is what? An adjective. Now let me start like this, okay? We said that further and further are comparative of greater distances. In other words, they are used to express greater distances. Fine. Now, we also said that further is used for expressing physical what? Distances, while further is used for expressing what? Literary or metaphorical distances. Okay? In other words, assumed distances. Yes. Now, if those distances that you are comparing, all right? So if the distance that you are comparing at a particular time is relative to another noun, then you know that the form of these words, okay, that you are using is going to be an adjective. But if the distance that you are comparing, okay, is not relative to another noun, it's not relative to something in that same comparison or expression, then the form of this word that you are using is going to be an adverb. Okay? Now let me just say something very quickly before we continue with the examples that we have here. If I say, this is going to be a bonus to you. So let's just say something like this. Look no further, for example. Look no further. You ask yourself, look no further. Further has been used there, and I'm the person looking here. All right. Now, that word that has been used, okay, what is it connected with in that expression? Nothing. Look no further. So, in that case, further is being used as an adverb. But if I say, okay, in another expression, if I say something like, I need further advice on what to do with you, okay, I need further advice. Further, I am here and I'm needing something. Further has come between me and what I am needing in my expression. And what I'm needing here is advice. So in that case, we will say that the further in this very expression is in the form of an adjective. So this is how to differentiate between further being used what? As an adjective or as an adverb. Okay, back to our illustrations. Okay, the third usage we have here says things like, he will do anything to further his career. He will do anything to further his career. So I think I gave this example at the beginning of this analysis. To further. In this case, further is being used as a verb. Whenever to is pre-modifying a word, the word is very likely going to be a verb. Okay, that is in its infinitive form. So if I say something like to go, to fight, to sleep, all right, so you can understand that any word that's coming after to is a verb. So if I say to further, in this case, it is being used as what? A verb. Now this is the summary of the extra examples that I give to us in the course of analyzing the usage of further in expressions. That when further is used and it is not relative to another noun in that expression, then you know it's an adverb. If someone says, look no further, good. But when further is used relative to another noun in an expression, then you know that that further is an adjective. When someone says, I need further advice, Then when further is used, this is the third example I gave to us, in a situation where it is pre-modified by what? To. Alright? That is when to comes before further. Then you know it is neither an adverb nor an adjective. It automatically becomes what? A verb. So that's how to use further in expressions. Then we'll now come to the second one, which is father. How do we use father in expression? Alright? We use father the same way as further. Alright? When it is used relative to another noun, then it's an adjective. And when it is used, okay, in a situation where it is not relative to another noun, there is an adverb. Alright? And we said that further, or rather father, okay, cannot be used as a verb. So the first one we have here is the moon is farther than the sun. That is, the moon is at a position, okay, that is far away, okay, that is more far. More far is not allowed in English, because if a word or if an adjective is monosyllabic, that is, if an adjective has only one sound, cannot use more with it. But for the purpose of understanding, okay, I want you to assume that the moon is more far. More far is a code because it is not allowed in English. Okay, so instead of saying the moon is more far than the sun, so you say the moon is farther than the what? Sun. So you can see that here we're talking about physical distances. Of course, the moon is going to be at a physical distance farther than the sun. Fine. So that's that. Then what about when they use as what? An adverb. We have things like he went farther down the road. He went farther down. Whenever this word down is being used, okay, with an adjective or with a verb, okay, it's telling us that that adjective or verb does not have a direct object. Like if someone says, I want to lie down, okay, so that means that expression, that lie that is there does not have a direct object. In other words, it is intransitive. So what are we trying to say here? He went farther down the road is telling us that this farther is not relative to something else. In other words, there is no other noun that is being compared with the person that is moving here. All right, so this is how to use further and farther in expressions. Let's now take a step further, okay, and consider their appearance in past questions. Now, this is what we have. Okay, JAMB 1981. It was a blind alley. I could not walk any dash. A, far. B, farthest. C, furthest. D, farther. E, further. All right? So look at the question very well. Say it was a blind alley. I could not walk dash. So someone was walking here. All right? So, is it the metaphorical form of the word that we're going to take now, or the physical form of the word? We're going to take the physical form of the word because it's talking about someone walking, all right, in this expression. So, the correct answer to this question is option D. Okay? It was a blind alley. I could not walk any farther. We cannot consider far because any cannot be used with a positive adjective. So you cannot say any far, no. Alright, you cannot say any tall, but you can say any taller. And the next option, for example, is farthest. In the same way, we cannot use any with a superlative adverb or superlative adjective. So farthest, go away from these options, and this one can as well go. You are having farther and further because it is a physical sense, okay, where someone is walking. We're not going to take further. The correct answer is what? Farther. So that's how to use these words in expressions. We shall now move forward, okay, to our next set of words, which include, okay, compose, consist / comprise.